I don't want to get a tracking shot in front of the cop walking backwards.
Nice.
They went down.
Hi. I might go back and do homework.
No, it's like in their third year.
I know they're kids. They're walking this way.
I believe they went down that way, but I was following.
I'll speak before I spoke. Everybody's running.
We're people who believe in the Constitution, natural law, and natural rights. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're not criminals. We've never been convicted of anything. We don't hurt people.
Were you also in law enforcement?
I was in the military.
In the military. Okay. So, and what,
Army.
It's just silly to think that good, law-abiding people should be disarmed just because they're here. I mean, if I was a criminal, this is where I would come.
Why is that?
Criminals prey on the weak. You know, if people take their own safety and well-being and exercise their natural statutory and constitutional rights, I mean, if all good people of the world carried firearms, criminals would be out of business overnight. Okay. Overnight. And it makes me really sad that there's many students here on campus who are now organizing to try to have their own rights taken away by going and trying to convince the legislature to pass a law. I mean, this isn't about me. I don't even own a gun. This is about you, and this is about your right to protect yourself. If you really want to give that away and become less safe, that's up to you.
Do you have any comment? Any of the comments you stated? Do you have any intentions of arresting these two individuals today?
For all they know, I could be carrying a gun right now, and there's nothing they can do to prove it. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
Are you investigating these two individuals right now? These two people under investigation at the moment?
They can't make a Terry stop and a pat down unless they have a reason. And speaking in generalities and making points that I think are particularly relevant, that anybody in this crowd, there could be 18 guns in this crowd right now and we would never know it.
Well, we know there's
and
two.
If there were, I'd feel safer because you're all obviously good people who care about this stuff. I would just ask that you talk to some of your fellow students and let them know that you shouldn't ask for your rights to be taken away. That's ridiculous. You can't trust the government to protect you. I mean, this stuff happens every day. A police officer was shot and killed yesterday down at Virginia Tech. So I'm going to walk around and these guys can wonder if I'm carrying a gun.
Or violate the Fourth Amendment.
And by the way, the press release that your president sent out was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, basically calling us domestic terrorists. I don't even have a parking ticket on my record. I don't kill ants in my house. I take them outside. You know? It's silly. It's silly. They're trying to turn this into something that it's completely not. And why Plymouth State? Well, I don't know.
Will you be visiting other campuses?
Maybe. We have a court hearing on December 14th in the Grafton Superior Court. 13th? And is it the 13th?
It was 13th.
I'm sorry. It may be the 13th. Everybody should come, because if we win this injunction, the entire state regulatory scheme for preventing you from carrying guns will be gone. It should be up to you if you want to protect yourself. Not some bureaucrats that sit on high, and I don't know where your administration is, but they're not going to protect you.
Did you get delayed somehow today?
No.
Were you here at 9?
We were a little bit later. I had to stop to get a Red Bull. So I'm going to walk around, and they have no idea if I'm carrying a gun. None.
Do you believe that he's carrying a gun? Do you feel that you're upholding the law today, or are you you're in violation of that law? What do you think? Are they in violation of a law? Are they upholding the rule of law?
They're wasting a lot of money, that's for sure.
I think they're doing what they're told, and I think they're doing it out of genuine good intentions. But I think that they should. I think they should take some time to think about it.
Didn't the Nazis use that same argument though?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Yes, I mean, just doing as I'm told argument. I mean, people should stop and think. I'm not a cop anymore because I just couldn't enforce victimless crimes.
Woo! All right.
Everybody should go to freestateproject.org and read about the Free State Project. If anyone wants a flyer, I have a bunch of them. Yeah, you want to come? Cool. You're welcome.
Excuse me. Lynn Tui with the Associated Press. Are you carrying a weapon?
The state would have to prove that.
I'm asking you, are you carrying a weapon?
The state would have to prove that. I'm intentionally being cagey to point out how arbitrary this is. Any criminal could walk on. Criminals don't care about the law. Criminals don't care about a piece of paper that says you may carry a gun. Criminals go places and they victimize people. Everybody could have a gun.
This is New Hampshire. A lot of the people in this community have weapons. We're in New Hampshire. It's a cultural thing here.
The only people who respect silly firearm regulations are law-abiding people who disarm themselves because they're trying to do the right thing, and then criminals come, and then criminals know that they're disarmed.
And why haven't there been more school shootings?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, tragedies happen every day. I mean, more people die in car accidents than they do from firearms every year, and we're not banning cars. I also find it particularly interesting that people point out that this is a party school, so we can't have guns here. Well, I guarantee you most of the people who party here are doing it illegally, either by using drugs or drinking underage. And possession of a firearm is completely legal, and yet they're using their example that, oh, well, we're breaking the law, so we can't do something that's completely legal. Would anyone else like a flyer about the Free State Project? freestateproject.org?
Certainly.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the Free State Project is trying to achieve freedom?
The Free State Project. The Free State Project is a movement of 20,000 people to New Hampshire to reduce the size and scope of government so it only protects life, liberty, and property. No one should tell you how to live your life.
People are only afraid of them because they don't know.
But Brad, you didn't move to the state, correct?
I was hatched here in 1980. Would you like a pamphlet?
I'll take one. Would you like one?
Do you find it ironic that the people that around here that might be worried or turning to are the same people that'll put them in a cage for drinking underage or having marijuana, for instance?
Yeah. I mean, to people who are here who think that guns should absolutely not be on campus, I have to wonder when the last time you smoked pot or drank underage, because the folks here who are protecting you will put you in handcuffs and put you in a cage for doing this stuff. Freedom and liberty is important.
Is this ban only on guns, or does it apply to knives too?
The state preemption law applies to knives, firearms, firearm components, firearm supplies, and ammunition.
Have you ever gone to college?
Yes.
Do you know what it's going to be like if you let people walk around with guns here?
Safer.
Do you have an idea?
It's going to be safer.
Yeah, good idea.
Can the students walk around right now with hammers?
The fact that there are very few adults around, good idea.
Can the students right now walk around with hammers? Or books? Or
Books,
chairs?
that's a good idea. Why don't we substitute books for bullets?
Criminals will always have guns. That's the point.
Brad, in your earlier promotional materials, you had said if you got arrested, you got arrested. Why have you shown up today without an open weapon?
Without an open weapon?
Without a visible firearm or other weapon. You had said before if you got arrested, you were prepared for that, and you laid out step by step what you would do.
Because the university system would love for us to be arrested so they can paint us as the bad guy and hold us in contempt. Well, we're going to go to court and we're going to hold them in contempt of the Constitution, of natural law, of statutory law, and of your rights to defend yourself.
So it was the court order that changed your mind, or was it something else?
I'm very glad they went and got the court order, because I don't think we could have drawn as much attention to this important issue without it.
So if they hadn't done that, you would have still come and open carried on campus and been arrested or found in violation of policy, and then...
Maybe.
Well, was there anything else that changed your mind?
I mean, we're not carrying rifles. I mean,
Right.
so I mean.
I'm just trying to find out why. Since that was the plan.
Well, I mean, we're trying to prove a point. We're trying to make stuff known, and if we can win this in court and dismantle this whole thing for the entire state, then we'll have won. You know, we want university students to be empowered to decide about their own safety. Again, I don't own a gun, but I think you should be able to if you want to. That's what this is about.
Brad, will you be returning with a gun at any point after this restraining order is
Maybe, possibly. We certainly want to promote firearm safety and encourage people to, to attend a firearm safety class that we're going to put on in January.
You say you don't own a gun. So what gun were you planning on bringing here today?
Borrow one. I have lots of friends with guns.
So yeah, I have a question about that.
Yes, sir.
So you don't own a gun. This is just a curiosity. You don't own a gun, but if you borrowed one, it means you don't have a license to conceal, which means you'd be in violation of the.
Only if it were concealed.
If I were carrying a gun right now, I would be in violation. That's correct.
Right.
The state would have to prove it, though.
Right.
And if I were a criminal, I wouldn't care about that.
Can you ever conceal weapons permit and carry on campus?
They say no. They say no. They say no. State law and the Constitution say yes. And that's why we're going to go to court.
Are you carrying a gun?
Could be.
It could be.
The state would have to prove it.
It's a yes or no question.
I realize that. We're trying to point out how silly this is.
I could be.
We're trying to point out how silly this is. Criminals don't care about this stuff. We're not criminals. We're trying to point out that if criminals came here, they're not going to issue a press release. I mean, that's ridiculous.
We're not announcing that we're coming to do any kind of harm to anybody. That would be silly. That would be absolutely ridiculous.
We're actually pretty nice guys, if you get to know us.
I agree.
Please talk to your fellow students who are trying to take your rights away and tell them that you don't want your rights to be taken away. I mean, it's ridiculous.